Sure.
Then we could talk a bit about Scorpio, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very expensive, mediocre PC. I'm willing to chat about that.
Very interesting, that price tag.
Yeah. Gavin's hot take. You'll never guess what he thinks.
Never guess what I think.
Awesome. Ready?
Yep.
The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1.5-year-old and another on the way.
Ooh. My name is Gavin. I have a 1.5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 6-year-old and pretty close to 4-year-old.
Ooh.
Nice. Man, dude, mine's like so close to 2. Like saying 1.5, I think does him a disservice. Or gives him too much credit because like, wow, look at everything he's doing for a 1.5-year-old. Like, well,
yeah,
kind of.
Almost.
Yeah, it's probably maybe it's just like that.
Somebody. It's like saying somebody who's in their 20s. It's like, yeah, but what part of the 20s? It's like part of the 20s. Everybody's kind of a bit of a, you're still a kid.
I guess it depends on how you want to.
Yeah, end of your 20s, you're sort of starting to figure out what being an adult is. Well, most 20-somethings.
You couldn't rent a car until you were like 25 or something, wasn't it? Like you can't.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So come on,
yeah.
20s.
When I was like,
and on that day you become a man.
Yeah.
Your
rite of passage is conducted at an Enterprise rent-a-car.
They have a special ceremony for you too. I just think like you want to apply like a golf handicap.
It's called a car mitzvah.
Oh, jeez, nice.
Yeah, that's right.
Hashtag.
Yeah, dad fun.
That was a solid dad joke.
That was good.
For the record, the joke was car mitzvah. That was good. Oh man. Oh man, I'm gonna have to use it. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh,
and use it every time. It's like, wow, Dad, I get this car. Let's just go ahead and call it a coming of age, a car mitzvah, if you want. It's just like so good.
What have I done?
Yeah, enable.
You'll hate it. You'll hate it so much. Yeah, so you can almost apply like a golf handicap to your son though, because if you want people to assume they just keep saying he's about half a year or a year behind what he actually is. Oh yeah, he's only 1 year old. Wow. Oh, yeah. An incredible 1-year-old. It's a subpar 3-year-old. But, gentlemen, how was your week in fatherhood and gaming?
Mine was pretty steady as far as like parenthood. Just kind of hanging out. She's getting very toddler. Always into stuff. Always running. She moves so fast. And now she's making even more noise, which is great. She was playing with a hammer at the play center the other day, and it literally sounded like she was hammering on a piece of wood. It was just this plastic toy hammer on like a plastic toy workbench, but she was hitting that thing with every ounce of strength she had, and she was just bouncing the sound off the walls. But no, she's having a good time. She's a happy little kid, loving life, running around, getting into stuff, complete disregard for her own safety.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Like, yeah, 1,000% kid. So she's been doing well. Yeah, just family life's been nice. It's been going quite well. We're happy about the nice weather now. We went for a giant family walk. That was very, very pleasant. So we're happy about that. As far as gaming goes, I traded in a few games I had kicking around that were collecting dust and managed to pick myself up a copy of Titanfall 2.
Oh yeah,
and
nice.
It is so good.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. The sense of momentum, your character can just fly through the environments, very, very smooth movement. But then when you're in the mech, it's very different, but it's in a good way. Like there's this nice sort of balance between the two.
Nice.
All in all, very enjoyable. Your relationship with this giant robot is kind of cool, and I'm having a really good time with it, in all honesty. And I took a break from Batman to play it because I just found with Batman the tank stuff was just starting to get like, oh, I gotta solve another problem using a tank. Okay, can I try a different route? I'm Batman.
The Batman way.
Yeah,
Can I
exactly.
try Batman? It's like, how do I put out the fire in this burning building? You have to use your tank. I'm sorry, what? So, yeah, so I just
Just
sort
use
of,
a semi-automatic weapon. Go for it,
yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
Batman's
Nothing
violent.
says fire suppression like a 60 millimeter cannon. But yeah, I was getting sort of mildly frustrated with that mechanic because I really liked Batman games. I loved how they would make you feel like Batman, but this is feeling more like a tank simulation, which, don't get me wrong, is great,
Yeah.
but that's not what I want to do when I'm trying to play make-believe Batman. A couple great chase sequences with the Bat Tank would be a lot of fun, but it's not where I want to spend all my time. I'd rather spend my time in the cowl than the cockpit.
Yeah.
So, which is funny because I'm like, I'm tired of sitting in a machine and using the machine to solve all my problems. I need a break from this. Titanfall 2.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like,
But then
yeah,
that's the thing is
robot.
Titanfall 2, it fits better. Like, I want to be in the Titan because I am a pilot of a Titan, and that's my job.
So I played a lot of MechWarrior 2. Would that bring
Mhm.
back some sort of feeling of being in a mech again? Because I've been looking for some
there's
game.
the mech combat is really fun. Your jump becomes like a slide dash, so there's a lot of
Okay.
like that sort of movement, locking on missiles.
Yeah.
And instead of finding individual weapons for your mech, you find loadouts, which is a combination of missiles and abilities and guns and stuff. So there's
Oh, okay.
one where it's like a giant gun and you shoot at the other mech, and if you hit it 4 times, then you created a lock on. And then, like, so if you get 4 hits with that gun, you're now locked on and you can launch like a barrage of missiles at them. And that's just one of the
Sounds
many,
awesome.
many loadouts that you unlock. And yeah, it's really a lot of fun. And when you get out of your mech and you're running around shooting at people and like power sliding with a shotgun and like wall running and jumping and like kicking somebody in the head, while you're doing all that, your mech is still fighting because it's piloted with artificial intelligence when you're not in it.
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the mech itself is providing like fire support for you while you're doing all this crazy like parkour gun fu stuff. Yeah, I highly recommend it. The single player is immensely enjoyable. It's really really neat, and it's a very pretty game. It runs really well. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. The last level I just played, you're playing in a factory that's building like city parts. So you're running along walls while they're going through like conveyor systems and things are
Oh, neat.
rotating. So it really feels interesting. Yeah. So that's my week in fatherhood and gaming.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the most awesome thing I hear about Titanfall 2 is that how under not underwhelming, that's not the right word, like it underappreciated it is as a game. Like, 'cause it came out and just reviews of it where everyone just kept asking, why is this not more popular? Like this
Yeah.
game, this is everything that Titanfall, the first one, like tried to live up to. Like, this is the promise. They did it.
Yeah.
They
It's
did
horrible
it. Like,
launch time, right?
Yeah.
They launched
It's
with
like,
Call of Duty and Battlefield 1.
yeah,
Like, there's no way they're gonna fight those
no.
huge
They
media.
and yeah, and that's the thing too, is I think it's a game that stands stronger on its single player. So they were launching in the multiplayer series season to try to get in the ring with those big hitters, and it's like, yeah, but what really is excelling with your game is something that they're kind of not. They are and they aren't. Like, apparently Battlefield 1 has a really really wonderful single player campaign. um I didn't really hear too much about Infinite Warfare.
Mhm.
I'm curious about it because it's sci-fi stuff. That's kind of neat.
no, everybody was too
But
busy
yeah,
talking about Dove Simulator 2017, Battlefield 1.
yeah,
There's always one thing, right? It was dogs and fish and dubs.
yep. Those gotta get that message across. But yeah, it's Titanfall. Yeah, it's like reverse sequelitis. It's they managed to get it right in the sequel, which is something you rarely see. Like, they good on the team for making notes and realizing, like, okay, this is what didn't work well in the first one. Here's what we can do in the second one. And the big complaint was, got to have some single player action, and they did, and it was fantastic. And hopefully EA is also taking notes for the next Battlefront, which I hear they are. And they might be looking at doing more of like a war campaign single player thing, especially since the success of Rogue One showed that people like war stories. in the Star Wars universe. So hopefully we get something like that too.
We should get some information about that this week too, right? I think April 15th there is a reveal planned.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's up that alley.
Yep.
Yeah, and hopefully some more VR as well inside of the Star Wars universe.
Oh God, yes,
which
please.
Which makes for a nice segue into Jeff's week, having previewed it a little bit. Jeff, how was your week in fatherhood and gaming?
Well, in gaming, I'll just link off the VR stuff. Again, amazing time. Talking Star Wars, they need to do a lot more virtual reality in the Star Wars universe for sure. But an interesting part was that I took the borrowed VR headset over to my father-in-law, who's quadriplegic, so he doesn't have that ability to go around and experience the things that he once did. So he used to like a lot of fishing. So I showed him was it Into the Deep, or the one where you go down into the diver's cage? Just the calm, like one where
I was going to ask,
down.
like, tell me you didn't do the shark version.
No, we didn't do the shark one. I like eased him into the virtual reality. So the headset was on him, no problem. Like, he has a headrest for his chair, which this headset, the way they built it is amazing. It's so customizable that it's just a one button press over his head. It was comfortable. He could move his head as he needed without interfering with his chair and his health. So he did that one. He loved it. Just looking around, and he could move the whole game without having a controller, which was the best part too. So he could experience it. And while he couldn't look behind him, he could look side to side and see all the cool stuff that would come up to him. And we tried one of the VR worlds where it was a little bit more playful. He was playing with the kids, where you're the dinosaur knocking buildings with your head as Godzilla. So he could do that and try and throw the buildings at the kids, and he was having a great time interacting with them. And that was another one that he could do himself. So it was kind of giving them, that freedom again to kind of go into those worlds. He didn't have any kind of sickness to it either, which I was kind of worried about. Just even feeling that sense of motion would be, I think, jarring to someone in his situation. But it was all good. He had a great time with it. He didn't do the audio. He found that if you had the audio in it with a 3D surround, that was a little bit too much on the sensory aspect, just to totally submerge him into a virtual world. But without the audio, he had a great time. Like, it was a good experience, and it was great to see that smile on his face again. And it was a good physio workout for him too, where he has to constantly exercise his neck and his upper torso kind of muscles. So it was a good for that as well. So health and gaming, it was a good fit for him. So
what an incredible story. That's just fantastic. And I think, obviously we take a lot of stuff for granted, but I think obviously it's incredible that we can expand our gaming experience into virtual reality. But the thought that it can go out and provide those type of opportunities for folks who don't have such opportunities to be able to run around and just see even like normal type stuff, or visit things they haven't seen. Like, that's what an incredible extra venue where this whole thing can go. I hope people and developers continue to capitalize on and continue to provide that type of stuff. That is an incredible story.
Yeah. Even with like the 360 YouTube stuff, all those videos where he can go into different spaces and see wildlife and environments, and it was a good time for him.
That's great. Yeah, I'm happy to hear how, well, as you said, like, customizable the headsets were, and just how intuitive the experience was, regardless of experience with gameplay or anything that might have usually gotten in the way of a gaming experience. But in this case, it was very accessible and very rewarding. Yeah, for somebody who gets to experience something like fish and playing with grandkids and stuff like that. Like, that's a very special thing that I'm really happy. Like, that's one of the things about VR. When I hear it, I'm like, yep, that's exactly.
No, and it's
I'll give it out to. I mean, a nod to Sony and how they produced this headset too is just the that headset is really well built. Because in the number of times, like the number of folks I've shown it to and been able to put it on with relative ease and adjust it, get things moving. Like as for as complicated of system as it is surprisingly easy and well fitted, like to a bunch of different folks. Like that's really cool to hear that it continues to shine. They've really done something well there.
Yeah, for sure. You're not getting it back.
Yeah, that's isn't that wonderful how great it is?
Yeah, exactly. But no, that was good. That was probably my week in gaming. For fatherhood, it was my son's birthday party, so he was turning 4. He actually turns 4 this week. And I will throw something out there that I've experienced that I did not experience with my older son, is we had a big party. We were at like a local YMCA where we got the community room and the gym. We invited 12, which was a little bit, 12 of his kids from preschool. Thinking,
well, hold on. Stop. 12.
12.
You invited 12.
You know how you buffer? You buffer for, some people saying no. Just random, like 20%. So, 3 or 4 people are not going to say yes. Everyone said yes. So 12. But something I experienced that I never have before is that some parents brought their other sons and daughters that are older and had food and cupcakes and played. So we expected 12. We got 15, 16 kids for it. And they didn't really say much about it or kind of introduce it.
Yeah, did any of them ask beforehand?
No, it just kind of came in, added an extra chair to the back. They weren't at the table with the kids, but it was kind of an odd, like if I was in a situation where I had to come and bring both kids, just say, I would either get in contact before and be like, hey, is it all right? I'm kind of in a bind. We'll stay out of the room or whatever. Like, just let me know. But nothing like that. It was just like walk in, sit down. You got any more pizza? It's like, whoa, okay. Balls in so many people. It's just, wow. So that was a little much to kind of take in. And luckily we weren't paying by head. Like if another 4 people showed up, then it's an extra $50. I mean,
and like, hold on. And a number of parents made the same faux pas. Like, wasn't it just like one outsider?
No. 3 different parents.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it was, and all the parents stayed.
Wow.
At that age. They would 3-4-year-old, but yeah, it would, like, again, we didn't make a stink about it, but it was just something that was like, whoa, okay. Well, there is plenty. That's good. We ordered extra. And everyone had a fun time. So that was probably the I guess the most important part, that my son had a blast and didn't care who these strange kids were running around, but he had fun. So that was an exhausting.
One of the parenthood issues that can be sometimes, it's like your kid might make friends with some really great other kids, but who's to say the parents are going to be fun or easy to deal with? Like, there's no guarantee that the parents of the children that your kids befriend are going to be, that you're going to hit it off, or even if they're even going to be respectful. It doesn't mean their kid could be a wonderful little bundle of joy and very respectful and polite and that, but their parents don't have to be. Like,
I know. That's the scary part.
So but then you have to you have to play nice with these parents for things like sleepovers and parties and stuff like that. So it's like this weird sort of like politic, social contract thing of like, I'm forced to be polite with you because for some reason our kids are really good friends. And I like your kid, but like, I don't want you to come to the barbecue. But I can't say no. Because Jimmy has to come to the barbecue. And
it's like high school all over again. You have to talk to make new friends and talk to other ones that you
groups and cliques and stuff.
I almost think the other version is worse, where it's like you really like the person. Like, let's say Gavin, like you hated my son. And it's like, okay, Trevor, you're fine. I enjoy hanging out with you, but just don't
bring
your kid. Like, hey, it'd be
Yeah,
great.
so
Our
you
kids
make
could play. Like,
friends.
let's keep
Yeah,
this
you
as
make
an
friends with
adult.
a parent. You make friends with a parent, and then it turns out that their kid is like, your kid and their kid do not get along.
No.
It's like they just fight. It's just like just dogs in a yard just going at it. And then, but then it's like you still want to hang out with this person because this parent's really cool and you guys hit it off. But for some reason, your kids are just like, nope, we're not having it. We don't want anything to do. It's like, well, I guess we can't be friends. That's too bad. Oh,
Yeah, I could totally see that reverse too. It's a whole new ball
yeah.
game. Just there's lots of things you have to deal with now. That's even like with teachers too, right?
Yeah,
To
that
keep
too.
tabs on that and make nice with that. I don't know.
So
Yeah, it's like
Being
exhausting.
a
a
parent.
remember there's a skit that I'd seen online. It was a just from a comedian on his show, and he was trying to navigate the situation where he's trying to set up a play date with parent A. Because parent A and kid A is great, but parent B and kid B are awful. So they overhear the scenario happening, like, "Oh, you guys having a play date?" Like, no, not gonna. Don't think so. Nope. So try to selectively put out the invitations to so you just get the right mix of people you want. Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's part. A lot of it has been just like daycares or like scenarios where it's like there's a padded room of which you put the kid into.
Yeah. Run
But
away.
it's like and the birth. When did you have your first birthday party for the kid
Ah.
with other kids and parents?
Oh,
More importantly, other parents.
well, like one we had when they turned one. You mean like when was the first time?
Yeah, because you had
Yeah,
like a
when I was
tent and everything on her
Yeah,
first
we had the
birthday, didn't
whole
you?
10 outside and all the
You
babies
had
and
like
parents there.
clowns. You ordered the circus in. You guys
Yeah,
like went
exactly.
full hog.
Oh, I forgot. That's right. You're crazy. Hey,
Yeah.
Gavin.
Yeah.
Gavin, when do you plan to have the first actual big party with other kids?
I wouldn't be shocked if we invite a few of the friends that she's made at the play center to her second birthday. Because we also that's one of the few instances like we're actually starting to become friends with the parents at this community center just because we're all there hanging out, watching our kids play together. It's kind of like it was like an indoor park for the winter, which is great. So yeah, I'd say we would probably invite a couple of them. There's a couple in the
Yeah,
neighborhood that we've started having play dates with. I guess it's like the kids that she has play dates with. We're like, yeah, this birthday is kind of like a big play date. So we'll see. Well, it also depends on like just head count. Like we'll probably just have it at our place, but our apartment's only so big. But also we're gonna have far less family turnout for this one because everybody came to the first birthday.
Yeah.
But the second
They don't
birthday,
care anymore. They're like, yeah, 2, whatever.
yeah.
I was just going to say you have to be careful on how you word it because if we do or don't get an invitation, we'll be like, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, now you're stuck.
Yeah, no.
Like, Trevor, this we're
No,
real busy.
we'll be
Small
inviting.
apartment.
We'll probably invite like her playdate friends. Like that's kind of the one because it's like their kids that she plays with.
Good save.
Hey, I'm getting brushing up on my parent politic. I know how to watching
Smooth.
Jeff
And I wasn't,
masterly.
and I'm not. I'm not insulted in the slightest. So you did well.
I saw you fishing. It just didn't bite.
Move right past that lure. Well played.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess for myself, so baby naming hell continues. Trying to sort out what on earth we'll be able to name this kid. It's really not so much like it. I'll say like to Jeff, your point about your favorite names taken. Like I don't know that Adrian really didn't register with us very much beforehand. Like neither of us had it on the dock before he came around.
Yeah.
Just kind of like in reading a big old list, it's like that's the one that's stuck. so now we're going through this new list, and it's just like it is. We are having a hard time with this. I just don't know what to. Because for us in some ways too, I don't know if you had the same, but it's kind of like how the two of them play off one another.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. How you introduce both of them, right? You
Yeah.
take that
If I'm screaming at both of them, I need to be able to roll off the tongue so I don't lose my I don't stutter when I'm yelling.
Yeah. It has to have a good like shout roll to it, as well as you can't have one name that's like they can't be too separate on the weird scale, you know. So
Yeah, no.
if you have like one, it's like, yeah, this is Jonathan and this is Zardos. And it's like, yeah, whoa, wait, what? Why is one of your kids have like a sci-fi Star Trek name and one other kid's like John? So it's you need to sort of has to fit with the overall style. I don't know.
One is Star Wars, one is Star Trek, just to ruin it.
Yeah, yeah.
God.
Just so they hate each other off the bat.
Yeah,
The one that I thought was probably too clever for its own good is so his middle name's Daniel. So I thought if one was like Adrian Daniel and the other one's Daniel Adrian,
Oh God.
it's like kind of yeah, but that was my wife's reaction.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we are not doing that.
You're gonna have therapy sessions of it later on.
Yeah, because then you can't use the DEF CON system when they get in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. Middle
Or
name
you
means
like the middle name. It's like, it's
That'd be-
get the various ones. But if you're trying to do it and it's like their inverse middle name, you're like, you're kind of doing this weird.
See, I would-
don't shoot yourself in the foot. Come on.
Yeah, I would argue it's actually hyper efficient because then I could just yell the one, and I've covered everybody in every formation of the name.
Yeah, I guess so.
I suppose, but then like one of your kids will always feel like, depending on the order of delivery, one will always feel they're at DEF CON 2. Because every time you deliver it, one of them is getting their middle name called out, which means they've done bad. But then they didn't. You're just trying to save time.
Yeah. What have I done? Great report card. Okay.
Okay, I guess. So
Thanks.
if you got a good health plan, therapy's not an issue, then by all means.
So that effort continues. I think one of the an interesting merger for us this week, or I found, of gaming and fatherhood is we've introduced a few games like on a tablet to them, and especially the ones that kind of work with dexterity. So like they're hyper simple. And that's why there's like 50 of them on Android. So it's just the same code like duplicated 20 times, but there's each of the corners is just a shape, and then in the middle it appears. It's like a pear or a banana or a goat. And you click it and you drag it, and you bring it over to the appropriate side, so the appropriate corner.
Yeah.
But it's just like in that one and puzzles. So like it's a shape of a horse, and then all of a sudden like it breaks apart into 5 pieces. And he's got to just like deftly drag his finger in and put it into the right areas to remake the horse. But the thing that I found interesting though is that he has the very classic toy as far as like the hollow cube that has a bunch of shapes. So it's a hollow plastic cube, and he's got tiny little shapes like a square, star, moon, and you put it into it, and box with the blocks. Thank you. Yes, that's a much better way.
A hollow cube with all the different shapes.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it's that Fisher Price box with blocks in it, and you put the lid and you put the blocks through the holes. The corresponding shapes.
His aptitude for that thing, having been introduced to these digital versions of like shape matching, has like I would say double.
Oh, really?
Like, noticeably, like honestly, quite noticeably. Like to see him how he approaches them now, as far as shifting and moving and placing the block and like twisting it around, and then to see how it parallels so neatly with the digital version that he's been playing with. Like it just seems like some of those dexterity practices on the mobile one has actually now transitioned into real life to see him work with this like block thing.
That's really
so it's.
I'm almost tempted to try that out on her end too.
Yeah, because
and like she uses it, but like she's plays for a bit, but she doesn't do a lot of like the like spatial awareness manipulation as far as like I need to rotate the block like this to get it to actually interact properly. So
yeah,
something like that would bump that up a bit. Ooh.
Yeah, and that very thing is exactly what all of a sudden he seems to have picked up, and I don't know if I'm just jumping to some conclusions, but having so quickly after having experienced these digital versions to see his better abilities on this block or What do you call it? Block with blocks?
Sure.
Box of blocks, blocks.
Box with blocks.
There's a bunch of
No,
those.
it's been intriguing. So I was like, there we go. So it's, for all you naysayers out there, gaming is great for your kids. Away you go. We proved it. It's science now.
Science, yeah. You need Gavin as the next.
Yeah. I think doing the same with the
His daughter's tripled in dexterity.
Yeah.
yeah,
Doubled.
Yeah, and so I'm continuing my Trevor sale, and everything must go. I had my PS4 has been lent to my brother.
Oh wow.
There was just yeah, and it's just like, as if like the notion of it's not as if it's not bad enough to say that as a dad I'm not going to have any gaming time. It's just now like I've gone the further step of just removing all gaming things around me. So even if there was theoretically an opportunity, like that's gone now too.
Yeah.
But anyways, we lent it off, and the only thing interesting was, like, and it's a point Jeff you had mentioned previously, like he was able to go to the local library near him in Cambridge, which is not like the biggest city, and he picked up Horizon Zero Dawn and Battlefield 1 from this library.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you that's unbelievable. Those recent of games. Battlefield 1 maybe, although like again like the violence of it, like I'm surprised the library would have it. But Horizon Zero Dawn, are you kidding me? That game is at a library?
Yep.
You can just rent it? That's
not even rent.
like
you
the
just
failure
borrow.
of Blockbuster.
It doesn't cost anything. You just borrow it.
But the demise of Blockbuster, like this is your best bet, man. Just like that's a recent title. I couldn't believe it. Like that, like so that it's just a continued new dad tip. Like, damn it, if like the libraries aren't awesome now. Like as far as gaming needs.
It really is. They even have like 3DS stuff. Like so even portable consoles as well. So it's a great resource, at least in our province.
Ontario. Like it feels like Battlefield 1, like what is like how does the library validate that to their board? Here's this video game we have to buy.
I don't know. They're all adult games when you rent them. You have to have a parent rent them.
Yeah, so it's not even like the illusion of being for kids. Like it's straight up just for grown ass people.
No. Not everything in the library is for kids.
No, they got 3D printers. You can go and test out.
Or even like books. Like there's books at the library that the child should never read. But it's a library, and the same with movies. Like the movies and the audiobooks and all the other stuff. Like just because it's there, doesn't mean it's for a kid. Just because it's a game doesn't mean it's for a kid. Like they provide every range of maturity level in all the other mediums, so I'm not shocked that they would do the same for games as well.
Yeah, just like I don't know, for some reason it just seems like that particular endeavor would be more focused towards kids as a way to sneak them in, as opposed to adults just not wanting to buy video games.
That's the same as it's like not wanting to buy a movie. They go to the library and borrow one, or not wanting to purchase a music album. Like the number of albums I borrowed from the library in college because I really just needed to beef up my music access to just music while I was in college and having to paint all night. Like I need something else to listen to. I'm getting bored with stuff, so I would just go and borrow blues albums where I'm like, I don't really want to go and invest in this album, but I would love to listen to it for the week, so I'll just go grab it. So there is that sort of access to things where it's like, yeah, I would love to try this game out, but I kind of don't feel like dropping $80 on it. But if that happens to be a local branch, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, they're a great resource now. It's like they just got with it, right? Like they had to evolve, and they just picked up all these other pieces that other people are kind of dropping. So no, it's a great resource for sure. Use it. It's free.
Yeah, like jeez, I have to.
Well, not free. Your taxes pay for it, so it's like just use it because you're paying for it. Yeah,
pennies on the dollar, I assure you.
Right.
But yeah, I have to. Jeez. Yeah, I absolutely have to go back. I don't. Did you mention they had any VR titles?
I was looking because I was specifically looking for Dirt Rally because I wanted to try that VR. But they had Drive Club VR and Drive Club the original, but I didn't see anything else VR related. But yeah, they have a ton
Okay.
of just new games out there if you can get them.
Yeah, Drive Club, which is Drive Club, which you have access to, as is
Yeah,
obvious in the fact that you've beaten every record I'd ever set in that game so far. So
it's so fun. Driving in VR, perfect.
They should have a parent mode where like there's like a car seat in the back with a screaming toddler. And you're like trying to do the rally and like.
What is freaky though, if you ever do a replay, you can view your own replay in that game, right? Just talking quickly about it. You're in the passenger seat and you see your person like do the motions, and honest to God, the car feels like it's going 300% faster. And you're like, why aren't you braking? Like, it's totally insane. That's the closest I've gotten to motion sickness ever. It was just like, no, can't do this. Can't look at it.
That's interesting too, because yeah, if you're in a car driving it, it feels like the sense of speed is always a little bit less as opposed to being a passenger. That's why it's like people in the passenger seat are always like, why did you accelerate like that? It's like, well, it's no big deal.
Just bracing on the roof. Yeah, no, I would not.
The handle above the window. Grab onto that and you put your braking foot into the floorboard.
It's perfect. That's exactly what they do. Not when I drive.
That's a nervous passenger drive.
I had no idea that was even an option. Like, does it have to be your own? Does it have to be your own replay, or can you do like a professional's lap? Because that would be something. Like to see an actual driver kind of zip through like at full speed.
Come on, I'm practically professional. No, I don't know if it's if you can view anybody's, but you can definitely view your own, and it tracks wherever you look. So it's not like you're just driving straight ahead. It tracked all your head movements. So I would look over the ridge, and this character would look over where I had my head movement at that point in time. So it's kind of cool, but don't look ahead. Don't look when you're driving. It was just too much motion.
Oh man, I missed my VR headset. I think I just miss gaming in general. This is it, man. This is countdown to number 2. So like any game I can get, like this is it until, geez, I don't know, like what, 2 years, 3 years.
You're starting over again. Your world 1-1.
Oh. Except difficulty like tripled.
Could have blew the whistle and adopted and just get.
I think the first time through was just hard mode, and now it's just jumped up to extreme mode. I got 2 handicaps. Oh man, this is it. This is the last couple months of games, and every week I'll just be checking in.
Yeah.
Desperately living through you both. On that downer note, I think we'll wrap it up for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us at our website, newdadgaming.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to hear from you with show ideas, questions, anything else you'd like to reach out. For the podcast itself, you can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and many other podcasting services. If you could give us a rate, a like, and a share, and pass it around to any new dad who might like to game. Or like myself, someone who'll have 2 and will never game again. But in these last few months, as we the future of multiple babies, thank you so much for listening. My name has been Trevor, and I have a 1.5-year-old and a second on the way.
My name is Gavin. I have a 1.5-year-old. And
I'm Jeff. I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and I'll keep all Trevor's stuff while he goes into a gaming rut.
Yeah, that's what I just keep buying. I'll keep buying consoles and just like keep delivering it to you guys so you can tell me what it's like.
Yeah, perfect.
Play this.
I'm fine with that.
Buy this and
great.
Play this and let me know what it's like.
I love it.
We'll call it Trevor's spare time flash sale.
Oh, you get a console and you get a console. Everybody gets a console.
I was over ambitious in my toy purchases.
I thought there was time.
There's no time.
Oh, what is it? What's the name of the show? Let's see. Dang, it's something zone, Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone episode, guy, the librarian, finally has time to read all his books, except then he breaks his glasses.
What? Is it a cartoon?
Something like that, yeah.
No, it was straight up Twilight Zone.
Oh, Twilight Zone.
All of the humans in the world disappeared. Finally, this guy has time to read all the books he's ever wanted. Then he breaks his glasses. No, there was time now. For himself, it's like, finally getting the perfect gaming setup, getting all the games, getting the VR headset. And then the pregnancy test. No, but I had all the systems.
Yep.
Ugh.
I'm cool with it.
Anyway. Yeah, I bet. Thanks so much, guys. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Should probably start to sound a lot more positive in these coming months.
Yeah. It's not like it's, archived forever on the internet for your.
Yeah, it's not like my kids could ever come back at a later date and watch it and get a bad sense of how I felt during these days.